What's up, everybody? This is your girl Ericka from the Classic Line blog. You know I want to say God bless America when I'm standing beside the American flag. And I just want you guys to thank you so much for all your well wishes on, I'm telling my birthdays, passings of my family, this channel, buildings, new construction, old construction, rentals. Listen, the best is yet to come. Thank you so much for the 10 years on this channel. And I just want to thank you for all the things that you guys have contributed to my life and that I contribute to yours. And so listen, I hope this year can be even better, and I hope you grab the book, All Roads Lead to Real Estate. We're talking about digital real estate, online to the real dirt in your hand, and we'll have lots of good commentary inside that book to help you navigate. How can you grow in this economy and also grow and play Monopoly in real life for you and your family? You guys, this doesn't have to be the worst time in our economy. It can be one of the best if you make a decision and move forward in your life. This is your girl, Ericka. Thank you. What's up, everybody? This is your girl, Ericka from the Classic Line blog. Again, the links for the Inner Circle Texas Conclave is there. The links for the land grab course is there. And also you can grab the book, allroadsbook.com/landgrab2025. Listen, this is going to be our conversation for a while now, but I just want you guys to, what's up? Listen, you guys kept saying, well, you know, everything's falling. If you ask the average person right now, they're talking about tariffs and the sky is falling and people losing their jobs, Ericka. And I want to let you guys know, if you've been serious, if you've been talking about business, if you've been interested in business, all the campaign promises are being delivered. I literally was on the phone with several family members. They're like, that Trump, he doing this and he doing that and he doing this. And I've got to the age where I'm like, okay, all right. Like, again, I want you to understand, I had a family member the other day, they had 800 credit score. Went to the car dealership, was like, they said they didn't put no money down or anything. And I'm like, yeah, I know. All the other aunties like, you know, she got 800 credit score. How do we get one of them 800 credit scores, Ericka? And I'm like, y'all have been talking to y'all about this for years now. But anyway, so, you know, at the end of the day, you realize at some point in your family journey, sometimes you can't tell them. You got to show them. You can't tell them. You got to show them. So if you're in those courses today, you'll see a lot of content being dropped. But I just want to go over this really quickly. Let's get to it. Let's not hold y'all up. Let me tell you right here. Drop a city and state in the chat. I appreciate it always. Let me get to it. Here we go. Boom. All right. So this is important. Why is this important? Many of you probably have found an investment, or there's something you want to invest in and you couldn't because you weren't accredited, right? And I want to tell you, hey, they coming through. SEC proposes amendments to accredited investors and qualified institutional buyers. Now, I'm not going to read over this whole thing. I don't want to bore y'all to death, but I'm going to scroll down. Number 3, rural business investment companies. USDA licensed rural business investment companies would qualify as accredited investors without any regard to any wealth requirements. When I sit here and tell y'all about going further out, going outside of a town, moving out, why are these companies putting a business in the middle of nowhere? Why are these companies putting businesses in a very rural area? They must be trying to pay low. They must not be trying to pay the employees well. No, they knew something like this was coming, right? They go outside of Rock Hill, South Carolina, you know, another 30 minutes to an hour outside of Rock Hill, South Carolina, or Columbia, South Carolina. They're in a rural part of South Carolina, okay? And now they don't have to, if I'm a business, I can just tell you I'm accredited. If I'm in a USDA licensed rural investment company, I'm buying farms, I'm out here buying businesses, I'm out here, you know, there's tricks to all this. I'm already accredited, okay? Let me scroll down. Knowledgeable, number 4, very important, knowledgeable employees. Now, this was under the Investment Act of 1940 with respect to a private fund. Knowledgeable employees in an existing designation determined by the individual's role for a private fund and does not impose any wealth thresholds. Currently, an employee of an investment manager might qualify as a knowledgeable employee, but not qualify as an accredited investor. This change will eliminate that gap. Do y'all understand what I'm saying here for knowledgeable employees? Grant Cardone had Jared Grant worked for him and 20 years old, and Jared Grant was investing in apartments, millions of dollars, all the money he was making into the apartments with Grant Cardone, and is now a millionaire. Was he accredited investor? No, but he was a knowledgeable. Hold on, they would be cutting the grass right by the door. He was a knowledgeable employee. Now they're going to remove that. So all these wealthy folks that are reading the paperwork, their son and daughter leave college, because y'all keep thinking college is a party place. It's really not. It's a networking opportunity and an internship place. Their son or daughter leaves college and comes and works for them at the insurance company, the builder, the construction company. Now they are considered a knowledgeable employee and also accredited. Okay? I hope this isn't going to be too boring for y'all, but I just want y'all to understand what's happening here. They're massively changing the rules. And while we're arguing about tariffs and stuff being expensive at Walmart and stuff being eggs costing money, we're missing the whole boat. Okay? Let me finish. Family offices and family clients. Now, remember, we were talking about family offices here on this channel. The proposal to change a new category for family offices with at least $5 million in assets under management and their family clients, each as defined in Investment Advisors Act of 1940. Currently, a family office might manage accounts for some family clients that do not separately qualify. This change would allow family office and family clients to count their collective investment as a $5 million threshold. Now, what does that mean? If I'm in California and I've got 3 houses worth 1.6 million, okay, now I put them under a family office structure, which is some paperwork to that. But now I qualify. I qualify for just about anything. I qualify for just about anything. And anybody who's in my family office underneath me qualifies for anything too. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? I just don't want to lose y'all. You can put a 1 in the comments. You can just drop your city and state. I just want y'all to understand, like, the campaign promises are coming through for the folks that it's coming through for. Oh, very major. Very major. This is a game changer. And I'm not even finished. I'm only picking a few of them to read to y'all. Y'all can go read this. It's not long to yourself. Okay? Limited liability companies. Remember, for years, I've been saying, y'all get an LLC, man. Come on, man. Get an LLC, man. And people are like, LLC? It's $100. And it's $300. I'll be like, all right, cool. The proposed rule would codify a long-standing SEC staff interpretive position that includes limited liability companies, an enumeration of legal entities, and that would qualify them as accredited investors if they satisfy other requirements of the 501(a)(3). They have not been formed for a specific purpose for acquiring securities offered and have assets over $5 million. Now, the average person, if you've been watching Bigger Pockets or any of this person, they put an LLC together so that they could do what? Protect themselves from their properties. Now, Dion, you had Dion on. He has a very good point. He kept them all in his name. Why? Because he doesn't need to. Once you're pulling in 20, 30K a month, 40K a month, unless you're trying to go buy an apartment building or go do more strategic things, you can just sit in that space and get lots of write-offs in that space. You don't have to go chase and change and do a lot of stuff. But for those who are in maybe more expensive markets, I would say the Maryland, DC, Virginia, the Pennsylvania, the New York markets, this is going to be a game changer. Honey, come on, man. That's what I'm trying. You got it. You got it before I even finish my sentence. They lining these children up. I'm lining my nephews up and my future babies up. Y'all think I'm joking. That's why you're like, Ericka, why are you pivoting? I've been telling y'all how to make money online forever. I could close my eyes and turn on a website for y'all. Like I'll go over that in a second, but I want you to understand the real movement, like all these laws, like once Trump and them are out of there, and we may swing back the other way and put another, Democratic person in there. It won't matter. This is set up. They locking it in. If this man don't quit blowing that blower by this window. Okay. Let me go on. Catch-all provision. The proposed rule would create a new category for any entity owning more than $5 million in investments. Y'all, if y'all understand what $5 million is, on one small 16 to 32 unit apartment building in Dallas, and I would qualify for this. I could own maybe 7 or 8 duplexes and qualify for this, but I'm gonna keep it pushing. $5 million in investments, which was not formed for the specific person that's investing in securities offered. Of course not. Everybody can qualify for this because they're going to say, well, no, I bought these rental properties for myself for cash flow. Why would I buy? Again, even new people that come out in the next year or two and buy a bunch of properties so they can qualify for this, they still going to say the same. This provision is intended to allow for new and foreign types of entities to qualify as accredited investors without being enumerated. This is speaking to all these Indian, Chinese, and Korean people who are coming to town. They have green cards. They're buying rentals on the West Coast and in Texas heavy. And now they good. They Gucci. They don't have to be like, well, I got a green card. I'm a foreign citizen. They ain't got to do all that. Spousal equivalence. Currently, a natural person may include their spouse's resources when calculating income under Rule 501A6 and net worth under Rule 501A5. The proposal would amend this and permit a natural person to include the income and the net worth of a spousal equivalent, defined as a cohabitant occupying a relationship generally equivalent to that spouse. Let me tell you what that means. You could be dating a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader that makes $30K a year. Okay? And you're a multimillionaire. She is now an accredited investor because she is in that house cohabitating with you. Y'all, they y'all, I don't think y'all understand like the amount of they look out for themselves. Boom, Stedman, okay? And Stedman is a millionaire. But there's going to be a lot of people who have long-term partners who they don't marry, and that's just unfortunate, but it is what it is. This is what's going to happen. The boomers are all retiring and croaking. Looks like a rush to move to safeguard, even if they're not so bright children. It won't matter. If you set up a family office around your child, let's say you have a child, God bless them, and they just ain't the brightest. That's okay. What you're going to need to do is structure for them to win. And that's what you're supposed to do. Let's be really honest. Everybody knows if they're the tough cookie, they're the one who made all the family money, and their kid is not rocket science for whatever reason. You married that bimbo, had a bimbo baby, whatever. You need to structure your money and your opportunities so that you don't have to worry about your kids having to fight. Like, the Yellowstone TV show, again, Recession, any of these TV shows. I have not watched Recession, so let me not throw them in there, but Yellowstone, all this stuff, as soon as the man died, they sold everything because they did not have what it took to fight for another 50 years, right? And then the whole theory of the show is they were only going to, keep the land for 7 generations or whatever. But you have to understand how quickly something falls apart when the main guy isn't holding it. Right now, I have a friend whose grandpa bought 100 acres lots all over around Fort Worth and Dallas before it was Dallas in 1940s and 50s and 60s. And he just kept subdividing them into 1 acre, 2 acre, half an acre. He's got 50 acre, couple of different 50 acre farms. There's nobody on them. The kids don't live on them. They don't care about them. One of his grandsons was down here in Austin with us. He went up there, moved up there, and he's like, oh, I'm so bored. So we're going to move further in. So you're going to leave a free 50 acre farm with a free house on it because you want to be closer to the city. Y'all have to understand, like you're talking about in one generation from his children to his grandchildren, they don't care. This grandparent was paying for their kids to go to college. He paid for them to have $1,000 check every month while they were at college. You dig what I'm saying? And so when you're talking to these people, they don't even understand. I have a friend here in Austin who grandfather went around buying up all this land. And then when he died of a heart attack early, his wife is 100 years old now. She still has not changed anything. She does not live. None of her life changed. She never had to work. Multiple kids, never had to work. And living in $1 million house, and the city Austin group around her, now her house is worth $3 million. And she was in a house that I would say was worth $600,000 when he bought it. But now that house is worth $3 million. When I first moved to Austin, it was worth $1 million. If she ever wanted to sell it, I don't think they understood she was going to live to be 100 plus. Right? And so my friend, when I'm talking to them, they were like, oh, it's so hard. Everything's so expensive. I'm like, you got a down payment. to buy a house in Austin, Texas market. You have, like, hush. Your grandfather already paid the cost. You dig what I'm saying? And people really kind of are delusional to their struggle. Like, I really want you to understand, like, I understand all the decisions I made that seem adverse to my family and people, like normal people. Oh, baby, like in the middle of the day, I take naps. You know what I mean? I told somebody the other day I'm a woman of leisure, and they got pissed with me. And I just want you to understand, like, I don't have to anything at this point. I don't have to. It's a bonus. I'm doing it for my nephews and my children so they can see that I was productive. Like, look, mama do something every day. She get up and do a little bit of something. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, a little bit of something. I do a little bit of something, you know? But, you know, the way has been paid before me. And then when I just did the math, I'm like, oh, we don't have to work this hard. We don't have to work this hard, baby. We don't. Okay. So when I keep telling y'all to pivot, like, what you talking about? I'm out of here. So I had another thing for y'all to look at, but let me just read it. I think it's in my email. I'll just read it. So long and the story short, self-certification plus no contradictory knowledge. If you are an investor, you sign a written statement confirming you are accredited, okay? And that your investment is not financed by a third party, right? You got the cash money in your pocket. And we don't have any reason to believe otherwise. This approach may satisfy the reasonable steps to verify requirement, Rule 506C. That means all these apartment investments y'all come into, and y'all hearing these people talk about these apartments, which if I were you, I would build from the ground up. I'm gonna talk more about that in land grab. Just the equity, the power, the more influence. Now you're gonna be able to hop on these apartments. That's why you see so many ads. That's why you see Grant Cardone running around like a chicken with his head cut off, trying to grab all these apartments, because these changes were coming anyway. These were changes that were gonna come. They want to petition for themselves. You dig what I'm saying? They were gonna petition hard. All right. I'm telling you, TC, you got to. The kids don't know how to act. Everybody want $30,000. Like, I'm trying to be fun. I'm not trying to be funny, but a lot of people are like, I'm gonna be a wholesaler, Ericka. And let me tell you what. Let me just cut you through the mess. I get 10 phone calls a day on the properties across multiple states. And every time I mess them up, I say, well, I don't want to sell anything. I'm buying. You got anything to sell? And their phone caller or their person is like, but I can offer you, like, they keep reading the script to me. I'm like, no, stop reading the script to me. You can't offer me any cash for this property. I'll never sell, but I'll buy. What do you have? And they just short circuit. I've had one or two people, manager, call me back and be like, hey, I reviewed the calls. I heard you wanted to buy something. What do you have? Like, you have to understand, these people are just like running around trying to buy up stuff because they realize a lot of people are so broke. They just need a little pocket change. Right. And there's a bunch of zombie houses out here. There's a bunch of people who their mom and dad is going to go into an old folks home and they have to satisfy selling some of this stuff. So, but if I were you, I'd focus on land. I'd focus on going further out. There's several videos I have about rural stuff going on. And I don't think y'all understand. Like, there's a black family. I'm going to do a video on them where it's in rural part of Georgia. And they're forcing them to sell their 600 acres of land for $20K a pop. Now, they don't get $12 million, but the truth is that land is worth, they're putting a highway through it, they're putting developments through it. I really want you to understand, if you're a black person in a town and there's not a lot of black people, and they want to come up with some new ideal, I promise you, what I've learned from the white people here in Texas is they will go put they'll go put a few offices. They'll subdivide 1 acre. They'll start putting a few businesses. They'll put those metal, I forgot the name. Oh Lord, the metal offices, the flex space offices. They'll pour some cement, put that up, and all of a sudden, now the land that you thought was rural and you're gonna just eminent domain, it's worth 10x what it's worth, because now you're disrupting businesses. You're disrupting money. And that's what they're doing out here in Texas. You'll go in all these little rural parks and they'll put a slab down and they'll put those little metal buildings, flex spaces on them, and then they'll be renting them out. All right. So these aren't from 2020. This actually isn't from 2020. This is actually 2025. This is updated. So 2020 is actually, if you go back and look at 2020, it has 2020 is still under 1 million. If you go back, if you're probably Googling and you're getting caught up. If you go Google, go pull up the 2020, and it's actually different from this, Dr. K, because I know what you're thinking. Oh yeah, that's August 2020. It's not. It's not. It's not. Go pull up the information for 2020, and you'll see $1 million. There's a couple spaces on here that are different, and you'll see $1 million. Okay, go pull it up, Dr. K, because I know that's what you're thinking. You're like, no, this is old. This isn't. You have to pull up the newest one. I'll even give you all this link. This isn't not me holding nothing back. This is wg-law.com. This is from March 2025. Here you go. Boom. I don't mind sharing, because I think a lot of people are going to read this and go, well, what's different? This is August 2020. Well, who was in office in August 2020? You know what I mean? I just want y'all to understand, like, nah, this is updated. But I hear you. I feel what you say. I feel you're probably like researching as you're talking to me. But no, it's not the same. It's not the same. So yeah, pull it later. Here, yeah, go ahead and pull it up. Pull it later. Go review it. But for sure, I just left Clinton Coombs, him in an asset protection management conference. That's why I know it's different. So you know what I'm saying? Like, it just recently got updated. I'm just gonna let you know that. I was at a Clinton Coombs. We're at there for the CPA. It was not CPA. It's Wealth Management and Asset Protection conference. So that's where I'm not like, where you come up with this today? No, I'm in two, 3 accreditations, and they had to pop up, right? So if you meet minimum thresholds, you won't need to provide tax returns. You won't need a W-2. You won't need a letter from a CPA or a lawyer to confirm your status. This SEC has an intention to streamline the verification process for high net worth individuals. So it just means less paperwork, faster investment, who qualifies. If you're not comfortable investing in those levels, you still can verify through a CPA letter and financial documents, but you won't have to. And this is big for our Mormon community. This is going to be big for our Texas oil folks as well. This is somebody going, hey, ignore those tariffs conversations. Let's go juice this up. Let's go juice this. So yeah, it's okay, but it's new SEC changes. Like, people will think it's the August. It's not. If you go Google, you'll see. I'm in a couple syndications, so no worries. I don't know what that means. MR, clarify, or I might block you. I'm a nerd. I'm trying to read it and understand. Oh no, you're not pushing me off my land. I would hire an attorney. Okay, so that's the thing. Their families had that land for 130 years. But that's why I tell you, in these towns, some of these towns, they're waiting till you get old, or, well, you're getting $12 million. Just take the eminent domain, stop fighting it. And they're putting a highway through there. They're kind of doing all kind of stuff. They're doing all kind of stuff. So yeah, that's in Georgia though. And they're a Black family. So, they've had that land since 1920s, and they should fight harder. But I'll go over that in another video. And this is why I keep telling y'all land is so important. Y'all don't understand how important land is. I'm the tough cookie in the family bank. Well, you can be the tough cookie, but you still need to have a plan in place for when you go. The infamous 10 warehouses, I see them pretty common in Houston. I'm telling you, it is a strategy. And at first, when I saw them, I was like, why are people doing this? And so when they started putting a highway through parts of Georgetown, it's a loop, and they're actually changing up all these roads. I started seeing them pop up everywhere. And I was like, oh, well, people must really need offices. And it was just the family's way of, if you're going to come buy this land, if you're going to come try to get it from me, you're going to try to eminent domain. Now I've increased the value 10x. It's no longer just rural land that just is a farm. Now we should respect farm, period. But it's not just a farm now. Now it's this, and I have, or if you drive to Yellowstone National Park, and as you're going through Idaho and a few places, you'll see them. There'll be a big ranch, and in front they'll have like 5 little cabins, and it'll be like roadside hotel real quick, right? Or roadside stop or cabin stop. And I'd be like, who wants to stay in these little cabins right on the road? But it'd be so full at Yellowstone on your way to it, you'd be like, yeah, I might have to stay at one of these little cabins for $150 a night. Just cause, right? They're prefab, pre-made, and all the stuff. And what it is the family that owns the massive, vast land at the back of it. They changed that little fort. They got that little fort part and converted it and got a little zoning so they can make it a little, 5 to 10 little, stop. And it's very smart. It's land management. It's on top of development. It's a lot. I would love to just talk more about it, but I'll go on for hours. I got to calm myself. I think you need to right around a struggle to balance things out you want your children to have, but without some struggle mixed in their boredom will lead them to becoming have-not. So, I would say our family used to make us go to the Salvation Army and serve people food on Thanksgiving, and they used to make us volunteer. And I think it was important to see, but I think also them having a cutoff point. Like I had multiple cars, I had multiple opportunities. My family. Once I moved to Texas, though, or once I got to a certain age, it was like, okay, we're cut off now. We've had to do that for some kids in our family. Like you get no more help, like no more over the top help because we've gave you all the information, right? So, oh, for sure. Like Jasmine, that's the whole point of me saying this is like when you look at Uber, you look at Lyft, you look at all these things. People are like, oh, how they just put $5,000 in Uber and now they're getting out $300 million. How they put 25,000 because they were friends. They were just friends, and they took a chance on their friend having a plan. And this is what people don't understand. It's like this is where it starts. It's you being accredited has closed the door to thousands of investments. I'm talking about oil and gas. I'm talking about land. I'm talking about apartments. I'm talking about commercial buildings, fractional ownership. Like by the time this becomes like more common knowledge, and again, you have to think about it. Most people will say, I'm gonna be careful. I'm gonna say it like this. Most people, okay, when you meet them and they have multiple rental properties, they can make 60, 70K a year and kind of half do a job or be at a private school part of the time or kind of help do stuff in the community because the rental properties are the float, right? And if they ever want to take a lock of money out of it and just sit it in their account or just sit it in stocks, high dividend yield stocks, 15%, or put it in short-term returns with people like a 6-month project or a 7-month project, they can do that. 2 or 3 of the builders we know, they're knocking them out in 90 days. They're really building right? They may not get them sold as fast, but they get knocking them out fast with quality work, not crappy work. And you have to realize these people are taking cash and they're making it move. And so just being able to say you're an accredited opens countless doors. It means you don't limit yourself. Oh, for sure. No problem. No problem. At the end of the day, like I always tell people, I know what I'm doing sometimes sounds contrarian to people. What I'm investing in, what I'm working on sounds contrarian to people, but it's allowed me, when I've been sick, when I've been down, when I've had appendixes, when I've had surgeries, to just lay down and relax because I did years of hard work already. Now we're coasting, but here's the problem: most people want to coast when they still down because you're just gonna go lower. You're gonna go into poverty. Okay, you coast at the top, or you do a massive launch or massive investments at the top. Right now, I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to give this amount of money to our partnership, and whatever we make every month, cool. You need 50% of it, I don't care, right? I'm going to go over here and buy 2 more duplexes, and whatever they do, great. Whatever they make, as long as I'm not having to directly manage it, I don't care. You have to kind of turn the dial, and you guys will see that this summer. You'll see it probably in the next 30 days or so. Like I have a video coming out maybe on the 18th. Is it 18th or 17th, or is it 19th? It's one of those 2. But I'll be on site on some of my projects so you guys can see it, and I'll film a little bit of it. But that's why I'll be telling y'all. I'll be like y'all, it's it's Trump in here. Every time I talk to people and they're like, "Oh my God, Trump," I'll be like, "Okay." I just nod my head because I just know we're never in the same category ever again. I just know. Just want to talk to people like the doom in this. Like people like, I miss Biden. I'm like, you missed a visible president? Okay, cool, whatever. Yeah. Good afternoon. How y'all doing? Texas is on some other things since forever. You always know. An accredited investor. Okay, okay, cool. I follow Nas, Chameleonaire, and Ryan Leslie make their investments. Yes. I keep getting "we will sell your land" calls and letters. My answer is nah. I know what's up. I'm telling you. Just keep telling them I want to buy something and see what they say. It freaks them out. Okay. So part of why I wrote up a little song, right? And a lot of people say, well, Ericka, how can people make money? How can they, step out? And you got to stop with the, I'm a life coach, I'm a belief coach, I'm a manifestation coach. You have to be very clear. What do you help people do? And so when I tell people I help working professionals invest their money, live differently and enjoy it, right? Whatever. Right? Or I'll go deeper. I help people, working professionals, go find cheap, affordable land that they can buy that's either government backed or they can go build on, right? Because assets is the name of the game. But you have to understand, you can make $1 million with one platform, one problem, one link, one offer. You don't have, like, I was on a call and somebody's like, Ericka, but you have all these things going on. I'm like, honey, I don't. I really don't. Like, you make it, like, I hate to say you set it and forget it, but you make it and you just promote it. You have a book, you're gonna have to promote it for 2 years. Like, all the podcast stuff I was on this week, people are like, man, you have a lot of energy. I'm like, baby, I'm gonna be doing this for the next 90 days. This and working on my projects. I mean, I hear you, but it ain't that serious. And I get it. I'm never disparaging you guys, because I do understand what it's like to get up in the morning early, rush yourself out the door, go get in traffic, go sit in the office where you could be done with the work in 3 hours. But now you got to pretend to spread the workout all day, which is annoying, and deal with people. Okay, I get that. All right, and go eat a little lunch, then come back in there and fix your attitude. I feel you. That 2:30, 2:30, 3:30 sleepy time. I get all that. I'm not foreign to it. I just ain't did it in years because I ain't had to. Right. And so what I tell people is, I understand how tired you can be when you leave work and you come home, but you're going to have to figure out in this equation, what is the one problem you can solve? What is the one platform you could build out on, the one you could do something with? Because at the end of the day, these jobs ain't loyal. They won't need as many people. What I told y'all 3 years ago still stands. There will be a lot of women going home. Whether they go home with, they using, Instagram and YouTube to make money and pull in 100 to 200,000 a year. Y'all don't understand. Some of these people, when they finally fill out, why is he calling me? Okay. When they finally figure out the math on what they need to make it, that's why you see all these people moving to second tier titties. Second tier cities. Wait a minute. I know that sounded wrong. Second tier cities. Oh my God. Y'all know what I was trying to say. Hold on. Let me get myself together. I'm sorry. Let me get myself together. I was gonna show y'all second tier cities. Oh, let me get myself together. Hold on. It take a second. Because I want to be silly. Let me hold on. Pause. Multiple pauses. Multiple pauses. Hold on. Oh, okay. I'm coming back. I gotta get it together. All right, I'm coming back. I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna get it together. Oh Lord. Hold on. I'm sorry. We should be adults, but we are not. All right. I was gonna show y'all. I was gonna show y'all these cities, man, but I done messed myself up. Okay, here we go. I grew up with a lot of boy cousins and my brother, and I just will be laughing about the dumbest thing. Hold on, let me get out of here. I'm ready. I promise. Hold on. I'm gonna show y'all this. Oh Lord. Oh man. All right, I'm back. The top cities to move to in 2025. Stop it. Number 1, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Number 2, Huntsville, Alabama. Number 3, Greenville, South Carolina. Number 4, Knoxville, Tennessee. Number 5, The Villages in Florida. If y'all know where that is, let me know. Number 6, Raleigh, North Carolina. Number 7, Ocala, Florida. Ocala. I think that's Ocala. My Seminole people, let me know. Chattanooga, Tennessee, and Charleston, South Carolina, and Vancouver, Washington. Okay. I'm done. I'm gonna cut it out. I promise I'm done. I'm done. All right. So why are these cities important? Why am I bringing this up? Why am I talking about investing and all this stuff in Land Grab 2025? Because people are going to move to second tier cities. Boy, I'm telling you, it's a day. And what they're going to do is they're just going to invest. Like if they're in Raleigh and they want to invest in South Carolina, 1 or 2 things, they're going to do it. I'm even looking now with my family for a few different beach properties, and we're going high and we're going low. We're getting something cheap near Myrtle Beach, and we're getting something more expensive on the direct, nicer beaches in North Carolina, because South Carolina beats South Carolina. But it's funny because years 2007, 2008, when I was sitting there begging my family, I'm like, Myrtle Beach condos are $10,000. Let's buy them. And my families were like, oh my God, the sky's falling, Ericka. We can't buy anything. The sky is falling. This was a miss. But I'm trying to, if you bought the book the other day, or you bought the book today, I talk about these cities in here and how you need to make a note. You need to, you may not want to move to these cities, but you need to pay attention to the investment for duplexes, townhouses, or other properties or rentals. Because where the Village is at. If somebody can tell me where the Village is at in Florida, is it a bad area, good area? I don't know. But Ocala, Florida, all these places, there are going to be people who spend 6 months in Florida and go back to wherever they're from. That's going to be a lot more Americans. You're going to start seeing a lot more boomers, a lot more older folks who are doing half and half. They're trying to see the grandkids and keep up with their old friends, but then they're really ready to get out of that town, and they keep doing half and half. The sky is falling in Florida is comical, because all these people will have to do is buy 1 or 2 rentals and adjust themselves. Because people that have convinced themselves they can't buy a home will still spend money to live in a house. People do not like apartments. Y'all think people like apartments? They do not. I know too many people who still work in the apartment industry. They're like, girl, half our units is empty. You wouldn't know because you can't see it from the street, and it's not like you can go run over and find out each apartment complex's occupancy numbers. But my goal in all of this, when I'm teaching y'all, when I'm talking to y'all, is for you to do more with less, to be honest. Right? If you know it only takes you 3 rentals to get the life you want, or you to qualify for rental properties, or you to qualify for housing, or you to be able to sit back and chill with your kids, you got to do the math on that. That was part of my whole thing the other day, saying people don't think critically long enough. You see these women online crying, oh my God, I had a baby, I have to go back to work. And it's like, no, you don't. No one's forcing you back to work. But the whole society is kind of, and when I hear a woman say she's crying, she doesn't want to go back to work, first thing I think is, man, your man's slow? Is he special? Is he not able to handle y'all? Are y'all not able to budget? Everybody should have a budget. Even if you say, hey, Ericka, we had these children and it cost us an extra $60,000 from the hospital. So what? You're going to spread that payment out over the next 10 years anyway. You know what I mean? Yes, there are multiple tiers. There's some cities. It ain't worth looking at. That's why those strippers get to travel around. Okay. And so this is kind of what I want people to understand. Ooh, Lord. Tell me about the Villages. I don't know. Listen, Nicole, don't do us like that. We coming out there. Don't do us like that, Nicole. We're coming. They're coming, Nicole. They're coming. And you better let them come in there, okay? Number 7, Ocala, Florida. Okay, cool. Yeah, people sleep on these places, but what you have to understand is I can go to a second tier city. Oh, honey, Miss Nicole, we'll talk about this. If you're in Land Grab 2025, or if you're in the inner circle this year, you got some good surprises on your hands. He said, old freaky folks that golf all day. Yikes. Greenville, South Carolina is an hour from Charlotte. I see the play now. You already know, right? They can drive back into there. And it's been that way. Same thing with Rock Hill, South Carolina. It's been a place for them to drive back over. The Villages is a wealthy retirement community. Okay. It's a retirement area. Okay. Retirement city in Sumter and Marion counties. Okay. Cool. And South Carolina is very much a retirement state. Thinking is the hardest work there is, which is why the reason so few engage in it. Henry Ford. I told y'all the other day, Henry Ford is the reason y'all think y'all supposed to just show up to work and you're going to do 40 hours and you're going to walk off. Right? That's what people think. They're going to, and then it would be no problem in our society if you're going to do 40 hours. If you were going to come home and manage your budget and manage your children and manage yourself, nobody would have a problem if people were like, I only want to work 40 hours a week. If they knew, right, that people were managing themselves. People aren't managing themselves. They just aren't. They aren't managing themselves. And so we would, but that's the thing. People think they're supposed to do a little bit, right? The dad comes home, I'm only doing a little bit. Mom comes home, I'm only doing a little bit. Like eventually there's somebody who loses in all this. I'm telling you, Wonder Woman. Hey, thank you, appreciate it, man. I'm holding it together. I'm struggling over here. Very first time seeing this channel, sounds wonderful. Excited to hear more. Is this a recession-proof network? Especially, okay, for sure. Yeah, I mean, we're always gonna be recession-proof over here. You know, I love that song. Yeah, adult caregivers. Yes, doing more with less. Dope boys. Listen, I'm in Austin, Texas, and y'all gonna be like, Ericka, you being biased. Austin, Texas got flooded with Cubans under Obama. We got flooded with some more Cubans and some more Haitians and some more Venezuelan folks coming through the border, and they've been out here acting a fool. I'm talking about car wrecks. I'm talking about partying, turning up at the pools all night and day. And you'd be like, nah, Ericka, you're making it up. I promise you. It's going to come out in a year or two, or it's going to come out in the next, I would say, next, 6 months when they go, man, they kind of acting wild out here in Austin. And that increased the move of people to Round Rock, Georgetown, Calumbia, getting away from these folks. Because these folks could go live in San Antonio and that would be cool because that's that environment. But they don't want to live in San Antonio because there's no money down there. And it's boring. But anyway, yeah, it's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. Greenville, definitely that area on I-85 between Atlanta and Charlotte. The area's been slowly building up since they built the BMW plant in the 90s. Yeah, I just keep telling people, I'm like, if I could do a map from Atlanta up, everything that's within a vein up of Atlanta is going to have people living there because people get to Atlanta, they can't afford it. Same thing, people get to New York, can't afford to start moving out, spider veins away from New York, but close to New York, right? They're in Hoboken, New Jersey, doing internet videos so you can see New York in the background. You're like, what is that for? So most people want a life of leisure. That's right. Without any work, and that you're not owed money. That ain't happening. We've talked about that in other videos, but really I'll talk more about it in Land Grab 2025. It just depends on what you're going to them for. It really just depends on what you're going to for. But make note of these, right? Because when I told you about the Forbes 2016 Boomtown list, which I also talk about in the book, like every one of those towns to this day is busting and has lots of money, lots of opportunity, lots of investment, right? Anytime somebody asks me, do I have to invest for California? You're going to have to invest outside of California. Or you're gonna have a business in California. That's it. Like there's when people ask me about New York and California, all your money and energy is gonna be investing outside of those cities. Unless you plan on being a huge powerhouse in that city, all your money and time is going to be spent investing outside of those cities. They're just expensive cities. You gotta make more money or you gotta move. It's just that simple. All right, let me show you. Also, I want to show you this as not to be negative, but to kind of finish this out. People love talking about Chicago, and I get it. It's an easy talking point. A lot of Republicans do it. It's unfortunate. But these are the top, unfortunate, it's not positive, but which cities have the highest murder rate? New Orleans, St. Louis, and Baltimore. They're hard to gauge because they're not in counties. So then you have Philadelphia, Memphis, Birmingham, Kansas City, Washington, D.C., Milwaukee, Norfolk, Richmond, Detroit, Indianapolis, right? Louisville, and Atlanta. Atlanta's number 15. There's always this internet talk about Chicago. Chicago. And I just want you to understand, like, you have to know the difference between data and like this kind of like talk to kind of get you upset and get people rage baited. New Orleans. But when I say New Orleans, what do y'all think? Y'all think about crawfish. Y'all think about low country bowls. You think about going out there being drunk in New Orleans. That's usually what you think. All right. So again, this whole like Chicago. I'll be like, okay, but what about New Orleans? What about St. Louis? That's why I call St. Louis and them places dead cities. They're dead. They're small, dead cities. They're dead. Now, if you look at the numbers, it'll say Chicago, it'll say Cook County and LA. But if you actually look at it based on the numbers per 100,000 people, right? This is where it's at. This is the number. This is the data. New Orleans. But New Orleans' whole persona is we're Las Vegas, but with some seasoning on our food. And you can act up in the street and it smells like pee on Bourbon Street, right? Like when they went down there and cleaned Bourbon Street with lemon juice, I think it was a lemon flavored scented stuff. They were shocked. They were like, oh my God, it smells so great down here for the first time in forever. You got to realize people have been peeing on those streets for 400 years before slavery. Okay. So again, number 2, St. Louis, number 3, Baltimore, number 4, Philadelphia, number 5, Memphis, number 6, Birmingham, number 7, Kansas City. I'm not saying, and then Washington, D.C. I'm not saying these top ones can't be decent cities to live in, but to me, St. Louis is dead. It's just as low cost. Like people leaving Chicago to live there because they want to pay $20 forever. Baltimore, I mean, they clear them out, but it's going on 4 or 5 generations now, right? Philadelphia, you got pockets where you just can't get people to act like they got no sense. Memphis, the same thing, right? Memphis has a kind of a road. It goes from people from Mississippi, Alabama to Memphis, from Memphis to Chicago, and they just kind of go back and forth. So just wanted to clarify that. I always hear these like talking points and I'm like, please stop repeating them. They're not true. So it's beautiful up here, a mix of older homes and expensive new builds for the ones that can afford it. Sibling builders that created the area still own all the commercial land, right? Okay, so yeah. But that's what I have for y'all today. That is what I have for y'all today. Yeah, right? Why would they put, it's weird, but it actually didn't smell like ammonia. It smelled like a good smell. So this is what I have for y'all today. I just want y'all to understand, like, no matter where you're at on the spectrum of what you think about Trump and all this stuff, like he's going to hold up his campaign issues for the wealthy, right? Or for people who know. And it may not even, you're like, well, Ericka, this changes for a lot of people. It does, but it changes even more for a son or daughter of a wealthy person who wants to kind of fast track them into business and ownership and entrepreneurship and owning land and businesses. And so if I over the course of this year can kind of get you to understand, like, I help people, working professionals invest their money, right? Invest their money by having the knowledge to know, hey, this is where the puck is moving. This is where the ball's moving. This is where the money's going. Like get to that location, right? And that's what I'll continue to do. So some of the cities you'll always hear me talk about is Atlanta. You'll hear me talk about parts of Tennessee, North Carolina, and Texas and Florida for a long time. So if you're in the inner circle, what the inner circle will have are quarter 2 going to quarter 3 in Tennessee. We'll have our quarter 3 is in Tennessee. Our quarter 4 is in Texas. Our quarter 1 next year will be in Florida, and our quarter 2 of 2026 will be in San Diego, California. So enjoy. Good luck. Catch the book. Catch the courses. Enjoy yourself. It's been real, y'all. You guys have a great day.
This is Brandy Williams of Williams Accounting and Tax Services, located in McDonough, Georgia, WilliamsActTax.com, giving a testimony to Ericka Williams. Just want to thank you for all your encouragement and support. I am out here at a photo shoot for my second flip that we just finished, my first JV, which went very well. Got a book coming, Flipping with Friends in 45 days. Again, I will rave again and again about that boat party and winery that just changed my life. I met so many people, and I won't name all the names, but you know who you are. Again, I thank you for your support, and there's more to come. 2025 is just getting started. Y'all check out Ericka Williams. Get the game, execute, and keep your documentation. Thank you, y'all. Bye.